Welcome back to my channel. This is Gabin from Design Tribe, and I'm here with another quick tutorial for you. And before we get into it, I just wish to apologize for not being here all this while, but now I'm fully back. So let's get straight to our tutorial. The first thing we want to do is to create a new project, and for that project I want it to be 2000 by 2000 pixels and the resolution 300 pixels, and I'm just going to click on OK. And now I'm going to navigate to the folder where the resources for this design is located. I'm going to be linking that in the description below so that you can actually download them and follow along. So the first thing I want to do is to bring in this design into the background. So I'm just drop the background into my design like this. And next thing I want to do is to add a solid color adjustment layer like that, and I'll give it a dark blue color like this. And once that is done, I'm going to apply a color blend mode to it just like that. And now I'm going to create a new layer above, use my brush, and I'll sample a dark color from this angle. And once that color is sampled, I'll increase the size of my brush and I'll just dab somewhere above like that, and probably drop the opacity a little. And I'll also create another layer somewhere down here and dab there like that. And now I'm going to create another layer again because I actually want it to be very dark, and I'll bring it down like this. And for that I'm going to give it multiply, and I'm going to drop the color to something like this. Okay, once that is achieved, I'm going to be adding the other resources into the design. So I'm going to add this light into the design like that, increase the size something like this, and I'm going to give this soft light like that. I'm going to drop the opacity a little. I just want it to appear in the background just to give some texture to my background. Okay, at this point I'm going to import this image and I'll drop it here and drop the size like that. And I'm going to change the blend mode to soft light like that, and I'm going to add a mask to it and use my soft brush to brush around the unwanted areas. So I'll just fade out these unwanted areas like that, and down here I'm also going to fade out this area like this, and I'm going to bring down the opacity a little, and I'll click bring this other image also, position it on this other side and reduce the size to something like this. Okay, and now I'm going to add a mask to this also and use my brush to brush out the unwanted areas like that. And once that is done, I'll change the blend mode to soft light just like that. I think I'm happy with what I have up till now. And next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create the title. For the title I'm going to type in breakthrough. So I'll just use timeline. The font I used for this design is timeline, so I'll just select timeline and increase my font size to something maybe to 48, and I'll type in breakthrough like that, and I'll align everything to the center like that, and I'll press Ctrl or Command T on my keyboard, and I'll rotate it anti-clockwise by say 3 degrees, negative 3 degrees, and I'll position it somewhere here, and now I'm going to select my text type tool again, and I'm going to select these fonts, rich italic, and I'll type in Sunday like that. And oops, make sure, okay, I'll bring this layer below, and now I'll select my Sunday text, rotate it slightly like that, just position it nicely under this layer like this. Okay, now before I proceed, I will want to apply a kind of grading effect on my breakthrough text. So I'm just going to open up my project file again, and I'll just bring in this image here, and I'll place it right above the breakthrough layer like that. And I'm going to hold Alt or Option on my keyboard, and I'll click in between the two layers to create a clipping mask. So once I click like that, I'm going to press Command or Control T on my keyboard, and I increase the size of this shape like this, increase the size to something like this, and I reposition it according to my taste, and I think I like what I see now. And now I'm going to apply a color because I don't really like this color at the moment, so I'm going to add a solid color adjustment layer, and I'll choose this yellow color like that, and I'll also do a clipping mask. So the clipping mask is applied to this other layer which was clipped onto this text layer. And now for this yellow layer, since I want just the color to apply to this and I don't want it to be applied as a layer, I'm going to change the blend mode of this solid color adjustment layer into color like that. And once that is applied, you now see that just the color is applied on the text. And now I can now modify this layer beneath so that I get exactly what I want. And I think I like this. Okay, once that is done, I'm going to add a line in I'm going to add a line around Sunday. So I'm going to select my rectangle tool like that, and I make sure I draw a thin line like that. Once the thin line is drawn, press Ctrl Command T on my keyboard, and I rotate it anti-clockwise, and I'm going to position it like this and move it to the left hand side. Okay, once that is done, I'm going to add a mask to this layer, and I'll use my brush, black brush, reduce the size of the brush, and I'll dab at the center like this to wipe out some parts of this layer. If you don't understand what I'm actually doing with the mask, you can watch my other video where I explained intensively. I did an intensive video on layer mask and how to use layer mask, because actually on a layer mask, once a layer mask is applied, when you paint with black, it hides that layer, and when you paint with white, it reveals that layer. So that's actually what I'm doing here now. So once that is done, the next thing I want to do is to add the date and the time of the program. But before I go to that, I will want to bring in the preacher. So I'm just drag his image and drop here, and once I drop that, I will go to select subject, and once my subject is selected, I'm going to click on mask. And once the mask has been created, I'm going to press Ctrl to make a selection, and I'll select this layer and press Ctrl J So a selection is made without the mask layer, and I'll just drag this and drop into my project like that. Control T, and I'll reduce the size to something like this, and I'll position it somewhere here. And now I'll begin to add the other details into the design. And for now it appears that this looks a little too big, so I'm going to select all of these like this and Control T, reduce the size something like that, and I'll position it somewhere here like that. And I'll bring in the logo into the design, reduce the size of the logo to something like this, and I'll position it somewhere up here like that. And now I'm going to create a copy of this logo. So I'll locate the logo layer, press Ctrl J or Command J on my keyboard to create a copy. I'll bring it right down to where my background layer is, somewhere here, and I'll press Ctrl T, increase the size of the logo to something like this, and I'll just rotate it. Maybe I rotate it like that, position it here like this, and I'll create another copy. Ctrl J, oops, undo. Okay, I'll need to select that exactly here, Ctrl T, and I bring it this way, maybe, and then I rotate it the other way like this. Okay, and I'll do one more copy. Ctrl J, Ctrl T, and I'll put it somewhere up here like that. So I just want to use the textures for this design. So now I'm going to navigate to the layers independently, and I'm going to drop the opacities. So for the first layer, I'm going to drop the opacity down to about maybe 4, and the next one, which is this, I'm going to drop its own opacity down to 3, and for this last one, I'm going to drop the opacity down to say 2. Yeah, that is just to add a little more texture to my background. And now I'm going to reposition this again. Maybe just select this and create a group for it and convert it to a smart object. And then for this Sunday text, I'm also going to group it and convert it to a smart object, so it's easy to move them about. Ctrl T, and I move it to this position like that. Okay, now I'm going to select my background layer. Maybe before doing that, I'll just add the other information that we need. I'll just create this here like this, and I'll make it more round on the edges like this. In case you don't see this panel, it's properties. You just go to Windows and you click on properties, and this panel is going to appear here. So for this panel, I'm going to drop the opacity down to say, I think 17 is good. And now I'm going to type in the details. So I'll just come here. It's Sunday, 8th August. So I'll just copy this, and for this I'm going to use another font, Monument Extended, and I'll just type in Sunday like that. Select everything, and I reduce the font size to maybe say 14 or something slightly bigger like 16, and I bring it to this position like that, and I click here and type the date 11th, select everything, and I'll make this one bold, increase the size to say 30. Yeah, I want it to align with this Sunday. Then Ctrl J to create a copy of this Sunday text, and I'll position it here, and I'll type in August like that, and I position it here so it lines up, and I'll create a copy of the August text, and I'll position it here, and I'm going to call it, I'll put the time 10 a.m. and for that I'm going to make it bold, and probably I drop the size to about 10 like that, and for that I'll give it a red color to draw attention to it. I think this red, it's okay. Okay, and now I'll begin to add in the other details. Maybe I just select all these layers together so I can move them easily to the left, like that. Okay, now I'm going to add the location of the church. It's Hawaii, Christ Nation, Hawaii Lavery. So for this I'm going to use Montserrat regular, Ctrl V, make it bold, semi bold like that, and our position is here. Ctrl T, I'll drop it down a little, like that, and now I'm going to select the remaining text, copy, create a text box, Ctrl V, select everything, and I'll drop the size down to maybe 9 points. Then I'll align it left like that, position it here, and bring down the size a little, and medium. Okay, now I'm going to add Facebook and YouTube, the Facebook and YouTube channel links. Facebook, okay, Christ Nation Global, Christ Nation Global. Okay, position it here, and now I'm going to bring in the YouTube channel, drop this down, and I'm going to Ctrl J, create a copy, and I'll type the same information there, move this up like that, Okay. I may want to adjust the rotation of this team a little. Something like that. And now I may want to change the color of this also. Maybe yellow will do. Yep. And now I'm going to bring in the name of the pastor. So I'm going to create a circle like that, position it here, Ctrl T, reduce the size to something like this, and I'm going to create a duplicate of it, Ctrl T, increase the size to something like that. And now I'm going to modify this new layer which I've created. I'll turn off the fill color, and now I'm going to give it a white color for the stroke, and I'll drop the stroke to about let me say let me bring it down again, say to about 8 or 9. Okay, and then I give it dash, and I'll position it like this. And within the circle, I'm going to type in the name of the pastor. I'm going to do this with Montserrat Regular Reverend Ivan Amatagana, like that. Select this and position here, make it bold, maybe give it a size of 8, position it here. Now just type width, let's select a calligraphic font. Yeah, I think this will do. I position it here, Ctrl T, increase the size, something like this. And maybe I choose another font, like that. Okay, and I'm going to reduce the size here, adjust it to something like this. So right now I'm just going to reposition the elements of the design, and I'm going to do a modification on the background also to ensure that the image of the preacher blends with the background. So to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this yellow color here, and I'm going to go right down to the background section down here, create a new layer, and I'll use a soft brush, increase the size of my brush to something like that, and I'll just dab like once here like that, and I'll drop the opacity a little to say 58, and I'll create another layer, change the color to white, use my brush, and I'll dab again like that, and also bring it down. Yeah, this helps to make his image blend better with the background, that. And here I'm going to add a curves adjustment layer like that, and make sure it's clipped on this layer so that it affects just his image and not the whole image. And I'll go into maybe the blue part, and I'll increase the yellow color like that. Go to the red curve, increase the red a little, like that. And I'll add, go to curves, not curves, sorry, levels. I'll go to levels and I'm going to modify this and clip it. Make sure it affects just his image, like that. Okay, I think I prefer the red color here, so I'm going to change this back to the same red with YouTube, like that. And now I'm going to do some final touches on my background. I may also want to modify the way this text looks a little. I'll convert this back to layers, like that, and I'll navigate to where I have this Control T. I'll move this around a little till I find a position that is most suitable. Okay, I think this is better. No, Control T. So with this, there is no particular rule. It just depends on what you want to achieve. Okay, once I've moved that and adjusted that, now I'll select all the layers in the background. I'll drop this a little. Her image is a little too strong. Now I'll select all my layers in the background like this. This is very important. It's a critical stage. Select all like that and group. Create a group like this. Okay, and this is one of the tricks that I apply to my designs. Convert this to a smart object. Go to filter, and I'm going to add some noise to the design like that, and I'm going to increase it to say 6 pixels. Yeah, it has a way that it makes your background look a little more rich than it was before. And once that is applied, I'm going to select everything again and create a group for everything like that. Ctrl J. I'll hide this, convert this to a smart object, and I'll open it up in Camera Raw, where I'm going to do my last adjustments to the design, giving it the right color tone and every adjustment that I deem necessary. So I want to warm it up a little, so I'm going to add some temperature, warm it up like that, and add some contrast. Then I'll add some whites like that, a little clarity, and I dehaze it a little. At this point, you don't want to do too much. You just want to do little changes to the design. And now I'm going to add my sharpness to say maybe 84, and we'll just click on OK, and I think we are good to go. And that is it for this tutorial today. If you did enjoy it, please do well to subscribe, do well to like the video, so that YouTube can propose it to other viewers. And if you are not yet a subscriber, please do well to subscribe, like this video, share it with everyone. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.